सन 1915 में उनके भारत लौटने का ये शताब्दी वर्ष है। महात्मा गांधी देश के प्रथम प्रवासी भारतीय हैं जिन्होंने भारत आकर उसकी दुर्दशा को अंगीकार नहीं किया, बल्कि उसको सुधारने का बीड़ा उठाया। देश की आजादी के लिए लड़े और उसे गुलामी की जंजीरों से आजाद कराया। उसी प्रवासी की याद और उसके संकल्पों को दोहराने अपनाने का ये महत्वपूर्ण अवसर है। आज 7 जनवरी को अब से कुछ ही देर में युवा प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस का उद्घाटन सत्र प्रारंभ होगा, जिसे विदेश और प्रवासी भारतीय मामलों की मंत्री सुषमा स्वराज संबोधित करेंगी। भारत को विश्व गुरु के रूप में स्थापित करने के दृष्टिकोण को प्राप्त करने की दिशा में भी ये आयोजन एक बड़ा कदम है और कोई भी बड़े से बड़ा संकल्प पूरा हो सकता है जब युवा शक्ति उसमें जुड़ जाए। आज ऐसा ही एक विशेष अवसर है।
And it is only appropriate that these celebrations are being held in the land of Gandhiji's birth, where as a child he first imbibed the values that would become the basis of his philosophy. Bapu's epic life as a crusader for truth and non-violence began in his youth. He was in his 20s when he first got involved in the civil rights movements in South Africa. He was 37 in 1906 when he adopted his still evolving methodologies of satyagraha and non-violent protest for the first time in Johannesburg. He was in his 40s, still very much a youth, like many of the youth we see here today, present in all their excitement and anticipation to be part of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas celebrations 2015, which happens to be the 13th edition of these celebrations. Mahatma Gandhi in 1915, 100 years ago, was 46 when he returned to India. His purpose was to take his motherland on an amazing journey towards freedom in a manner that was unparalleled. No one had done this before, achieved freedom through the weapons of truth and non-violence. Mahatma Gandhi always had a special bond with the youth of the country, and in their eyes he saw hope for the future. A part of that future is present here today, to be a part of the future of India. Through all his teachings, Gandhiji constantly endeavored to create from the youth a cadre of inspiring and competent role models and agents of change with the courage of conviction, who in turn would trigger off the process of building a great nation and, more importantly, bring about social transformation based on his values and ideology.
युवा प्रवासी भारतीयों को भारत की सांस्कृतिक परंपरा और दर्शन से जोड़ने का भी ये एक बड़ा अवसर है। दुनिया के कोने-कोने में बसे इन युवाओं को भारत के प्राचीन गौरव के बारे में जानकारी देने और भारत की वर्तमान शक्ति और भविष्य के संकल्पों के विषय में भी अवगत कराने का ये एक बड़ा अवसर है, जिसके लिए चर्चाओं का सत्र भी होगा। भारत ने क्या-क्या पा लिया है और भविष्य के लिए उसकी क्या योजनाएं हैं, क्या संकल्प हैं, इसके लिए और प्राचीन भारत की संस्कृति के लिए 2 सत्रों का यहां आयोजन। भारत को जानो, भारत को मानो। अपनी जड़ों से जुड़ने और जोड़ने का ये बहुत बड़ा मौका, ये आयोजन प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस, और आज युवा प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस, जिसका उद्घाटन सत्र प्रारंभ हो रहा है अब से कुछ ही देर में।
The Indian diaspora is the second largest in the world. and it is a true reflection of the heterogeneity and the diversity of India, and represents different regions, languages, and faiths. And the youth forms a great chunk of this diaspora. As much as it is a celebration of our bonds and culture, the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is also a time to celebrate the achievements of India and its diaspora in various fields, right from entertainment to literature, politics, global business, science, sports, medicine, and the arts. This is, after all, not just looking at the past, it's about reconnecting with the past and looking towards the potentialities of the future through the lens of the past. This is also an opportunity to deliberate on the values of Mahatma Gandhi, his ideology, his philosophy, and his greatest weapons of all, truth and non-violence, and how they are relevant today as much as they were 100 years ago.
युवा समाज का सबसे गतिशील और जीवंत अंग है। आधे से ज्यादा आबादी 35 वर्ष से कम होने के साथ भारत विश्व के युवा देशों में से एक है। हमारा ध्यान युवा आधारित विकास पर केंद्रित है। भारत के युवा हमेशा से ही प्रतिभाशाली, मेहनती और उद्यमी रहे हैं। युवा भारतीयों की एक बड़ी संख्या ने विश्व के विभिन्न भागों में जाकर वहां की सामाजिक और आर्थिक क्रांति में मूल्यवान योगदान दिया है। भारत की बढ़ती अर्थव्यवस्था के द्वारा बनाए सुनहरे अवसरों से आकर्षित होकर भारतीय युवाओं ने अब घर वापस आना भी प्रारंभ किया है। युवा प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस युवा भारतीय प्रवासियों को भारतीय युवाओं से मिलने और भारत को जानने का एक महत्वपूर्ण अवसर है।
There will be several sessions during the course of the day as part of the Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. The government has set forth a vision of Bharat as the Vishwa Guru of the world, a model nation that runs on the principles of happiness, peace and harmony, and deep faith in the mantra of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, the entire world is one family. And this, of course, is also an appropriate time to reflect on Gandhiji through this film.
आया था रोशनी बनकर एक प्रण की तरह से तनकर, वो हिंद देश का वासी जो था प्रथम प्रवासी, सिद्धांत पे चलने वाला, सिद्धांत पे चलने वाला, वो समय बदलने वाला, मुट्ठी में सवेरा लेकर, सब रैन बसेरा लेकर, जंजीर गलाने आया, वो देश जगाने आया। एक सत्य अहिंसावादी, वो था महात्मा गांधी, वो था महात्मा गांधी, वो था महात्मा गांधी। वो सिखा गया अनुशासन, दे गया मंत्र सुशासन, उसने स्वदेश को पूजा, हर रूप भेष को पूजा, सब भेदभाव विसरा कर, सब जात पात ठुकरा कर, जीवन में स्वच्छता लाकर, एक वैष्णव जन को गाकर।
गांधी जी के विचारों से प्रेरणा लेकर फिर उनके संकल्पों को नई ऊर्जा के साथ अपनाने की आज और भी जरूरत है। विदेश और प्रवासी भारतीय मामलों की मंत्री सुषमा स्वराज का आगमन हो चुका है और कुछ ही देर में शुरू हो रहा है युवा प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस का उद्घाटन सत्र।
This is indeed a very happy occasion, a moment to celebrate the youth of India and indeed of the world. The youth in all its greatness is present here today to celebrate something beautiful. A wonderful moment here. Srimati Sushma Swaraj being greeted very affectionately by some of the members and participants in the youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. And she was being greeted there by Priti Patel, who is a Member of Parliament of UK Prime Minister's Diaspora Champion and Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury, the United Kingdom. Also present on the dais is Sri Sarbananda Sonowal, the Honourable Minister of State, Independent Charge for Youth Affairs and Sports, the Government of India. A great photo op for the media. And a great opportunity for all of us to be part of these celebrations. As a part of this inaugural session, there will be a welcome address by the Secretary, Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, and the keynote address by the Honourable Minister of State, Sri Sarbanand Sonowal for Youth Affairs, and Ms. Priti Patel will also be talking to the audiences. And as the activities continue on the dais, we hand you over to the auditorium and take you to Ms. Komal G.P. Singh.
We're delighted to have Priti Patel, Member of Parliament, UK, Prime Minister's Diaspora, Champion and Exchequer Secretariat to the Treasury, United Kingdom. The Chairperson of the World Organization of Students and Youth, please welcome Rashmi Das. And Mr. Sunil Soni, Secretary, Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs. And Secretary, Department of Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Mr. Rajiv Gupta. Just a small request before we begin. As you know, there's a live telecast, and may I request our photographer friends from the media to please clear the line of vision. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the lamp, the lighting of which, in true Indian tradition, reminds us of the universal power in each of us to awaken with knowledge and dispel darkness. I'd like to invite Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, the Honourable Minister, and our guests to kindle the flames. What an auspicious moment. The inaugural ceremony of the Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. In the light of the magical brilliance of the lamp, let's now listen to the beauty of prayer. We have with us, to my right, the artists, the choir of Akashvani, All India Radio, Delhi. They're going to sing a bhajan or prayer dearly loved by the Mahatma. The lyrics reflect respect for truth, compassion, and purity of thought. Vaishnav Janato.
वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराए जाने रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराए
the brilliance of the artists, the vocalists, and the musicians, in fact, hidden behind them, artists of the choir of Akashvani, All India Radio, Delhi. Mr. Sunil Soni, Secretary, Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, Government of India, will now present the welcome address.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me, on behalf of myself, the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, as well as the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, our partner ministry for this event, begin by wishing you all a very happy new year. It gives me immense pleasure to share this platform with you all at the inaugural session of the Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas as part of the 13th edition of the PBD being celebrated here in Gandhinagar. This is the second Youth PBD that is being organized by this ministry. This event is also very special since we are also celebrating the completion of 100 years of return of Mahatma Gandhi to India at 7:30 a.m. at Apollo Bandar, Mumbai on the 9th of January 1915. Ladies and gentlemen, our most valuable resource today is our young population, and India's advantage with this favorable demographies is not unknown. This underscores the importance of holding a youth PBD today here in Gandhinagar, and our Prime Minister has often emphasized upon creating a global talent pool which shall not only help us carry forward our task of economic and social development domestically, but also help us to work across the world for a better place for all mankind to live. Let me now proceed to welcome our honored guest for this Youth PBD inaugural. Firstly, I would like to welcome Honorable Minister for Overseas Indian Affairs, Shrimati Sushma Swaraj, who has been the main architect behind this event. She has provided us tremendous guidance and support in organizing this event. Madam, I extend a very hearty welcome to you. I would also like to welcome Honorable Shri Sarbananda Sonowal, Minister for State for Youth Affairs and Sports, who represents our partner ministry for today's event. Let me now welcome our guest speakers. I welcome Mrs. Preeti Patel, MP, UK Prime Minister, Diaspora Champion, and Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury in UK. Similarly, I welcome Dr. Rashmi Das, Chairperson, World Organization of Students and Youth, New Delhi. I also welcome Shri Rajiv Gupta, Secretary, Department of Youth Affairs, our partner ministry once more. Equally important, I also take this opportunity to welcome all of you present here, particularly the young audience. It is overwhelming and very encouraging that the young overseas Indians have turned out in such a fabulous numbers as we see in this hall today morning, and the other hall, the SR3, is also full, I'm told, and this hall doesn't have place to stand. So I'm really overwhelmed by your response, and very happy to see you all here. I also welcome the overseas young participants who have come from the Know India program and the Study India program who have joined this particular event today. I would like to make a special mention of the students from Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University, Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information and Communication Technology, Gujarat National Law University, and the Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, who as part of this program, these 4 universities of Gujarat are hosting the youth in 4 different groups who will be in the evening have a visit to the university and have a detailed interaction with their counterparts in these universities. So this is the new experiment we are trying this year. And I'm very sure that these interactions shall foster greater connectivity between India and diaspora youth from other countries. Finally, I also welcome the representatives from ICCR, NVK, and other diaspora youth participating in today's event. Before I close, I would like to personally welcome the eclectic mix of ministers, entrepreneurs, business persons, officials, thought leaders, and of course the media who is present here. The enthusiasm and passion of display here highlights the determination of the Pravasi Bharatiyas and all the rest of you to make this event a grand success. Today's event of the Youth PBD includes 3 important sessions that will not only dwell on the ways to strengthen the linkages between Indian diaspora, youth across the globe, but also identify specific areas of cooperation and synergy between them. I am confident these sessions will provide an effective platform for meaningful interaction between all of you. Friends, today's event is extremely well-timed against the backdrop of our nation's effort to channelize the aspirations and energy of the youth to national building. This goes even more important when India has embarked on a more vigorous agenda of economic reforms as well as social development aimed at growth and deeper economic engagement, both globally and regionally. As we are aware, India is back on the growth path with an upbeat assessment of the World Bank, which has projected India's GDP growth at 6.4% in 2015. There is every reason for you to efficiently utilize your skills as India emerges as the hotspot of growth and for many other opportunities. In conclusion, I am sure that the level of response, participation, and quality of debates and discussion during this event will leave us with the optimism and lay a firm groundwork for opening new windows of engagement, not only with the youth in the diaspora, but also with the overseas Indian community on one hand, and for the diaspora to connect with their friends in India for mutual benefit of both the sides and the general well-being of the world and the global community. Thank you. Jai Hind.
That was Mr. Soni with words of welcome and opening remarks. The keynote address will now be delivered by the Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge for Youth Affairs and Sports. I'd like to invite Mr. Sarbananda Sonowal.
Honorable Minister for External Affairs and Overseas Indian Affairs, Srimati Sushma Swaraj ji, Madam Priti Patel, Honorable Member of the British Parliament and Exchequer Secretary to the Treasurer in the British Government, Sri Sunil Soni ji, Secretary, Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, Sri Rajiv Gupta ji, Secretary, Youth Affairs, Government of India, and Dr. Rasmi Das ji, Chairperson, World Organization of Students and Youth, distinguished delegates from around the world, ladies and gentlemen, I wish all of you a very Happy New Year 2015. We are all proud to be here. This is a beautiful land, Gujarat, which is known as the land of legends and lions. At the outset, I would like to compliment the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs for creating an excellent platform in the form of Pravasi Bharatiya Divas for engaging with the distinguished Indian diaspora from around the world, and more so for deciding to celebrate the first day of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas as the Youth Bharatiya Pravasi Divas. The Bharatiya Pravasi Divas this year is very special for all of us. as we celebrate the centenary of the return of Mahatma Gandhi from South Africa. As a Pravasi Indian, Mahatma Gandhi was 24 years old, young Indian when he first landed in South Africa. And then he led a non-violent struggle for justice in South Africa for 21 years, before finally returning to India to lead us to freedom. The youth are indeed the most dynamic and vibrant segment of the population in any country. India is one of the youngest nations in the world, with about 65% population under 35 years of age. It is expected that by the year 2020, the population of India would have a median age of 28 years only, as against 38 years for US, 42 years for China, and 48 years for Japan. The Indian youth have always been highly talented, hardworking, and enterprising. A large number of young Indians have moved to various parts of the world and have made valuable contribution. A sizable segment of overseas Indian community comprises of highly skilled young professionals who have been extremely successful in their respective sphere of work. Indian IT professionals command respect all over the world. Today, over a dozen top global corporations have Indian CEOs, including Microsoft, PepsiCo, and Deutsche Bank. Despite their success around the world, the Indian diaspora have continued to share strong bonds with their motherland. They have continued to play an important role in supporting the India growth story in many ways. During 2013-14, the overseas Indians sent home remittances totaling about $70 billion US, making India the global leader in terms of receipt of such remittances. These are exciting times in India. The new government, under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, has embarked on the mission of building a united, strong, and modern India. Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat. Following the principle of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, a number of path-breaking initiatives have been taken during the last 7 months. Make in India campaign has been launched to develop India as a global manufacturing hub. Digital India initiative seeks to transform India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. Skill India is being launched to impart necessary skill to prepare Indians for the opportunity in Indian economy, as also the opportunities abroad. A large number of initiatives, including smart cities project, have been launched for developing infrastructure. Swachh Bharat mission, Clean Ganga mission have been launched for building a clean and green India. All of these initiatives of the government require active involvement and support of all stakeholders. Huge investment will be necessary. The young Indian diaspora can play an important role in this ambitious task of building a modern and prosperous India. The government has also initiated various steps to facilitate this process by simplifying rules and procedure for the overseas Indians. My ministry is engaged in the novel task of developing the personality and leadership qualities of the youth by involving them in community service and various national building services. This is being done inter alia through 2 youth volunteer organizations, namely National Service Scheme and Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan. NYKS currently has 8.1 million youth volunteers enrolled through 2.85 lakhs youth club with presence in an entire rural area, and NSS has 3.3 million student volunteers in senior secondary schools and colleges all over the country. In fact, NSS was started in 1969, the birth centenary years of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi had once said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. In the same spirit, the motto of NSS is not me, but you. The overseas Indian youth willing to make contribution to various social causes can connect to this organization and work with them. In fact, some of these volunteers are present here today. This is an opportunity for the Indian diaspora to interact with them. I'm glad to inform that in addition to the task of developing the personality and leadership quality of the youth, my ministry is also conducting postgraduate and graduate academic courses in sports coaching, sports medicine, physical education, yoga, youth empowerment, gender studies, life skills education, career counseling, and other research and doctorate programs through our reputed institutions like Sports Authority of India, Lasmibai National College of Physical Education, Trivandrum, Lasmibai National Institute of Physical Education, Gwalior, Rajiv Gandhi National Institute for Youth Development, Sriperibendur, Tamil Nadu. This is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. And India is the biggest nation with human values. The world is a witness to the rich tradition and literature, such as Vedas and Upanishads, which speak not only about religion, but also about the human values and duties towards family and society. The tradition of joint family and family values has been kept alive in India. On this occasion, I call upon all the Pravasi Bharatiyas to preserve the values and tradition of their forefathers who came from India to different parts of the world to spread the word of human values. Stable family makes a stable society, and a stable society leads to a stable nation. India has a great past, and our government has set out on the task of projecting India and its richness to the world. I take this opportunity to urge upon all young overseas Indians to join us in this gigantic task to spread the richness, talent, and values of Indian tradition to the different parts of the world. In the end, I once again convey my best wishes to all our overseas Indian friends and all the distinguished delegates present here. I'm confident that the deliberation during the Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas today will result in further strengthening our ties with our overseas Indian friends. Thank you so much. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, sir. I'd now like to invite to the podium Preeti Patel, Member of Parliament, UK, Prime Minister's Diaspora Champion, and Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury, the United Kingdom. Preeti Patel.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, distinguished guests and friends, good morning, Happy New Year, and thank you for your very warm and wonderful welcome and hospitality here today in Gujarat. I am personally delighted to be here for this historic PBD, and for me it's actually a very moving but inspirational occasion to join you here today in what is my home state, but also in my capacity representing the British government as the Prime Minister's diaspora champion, and also to be here as a Gujarati as well. And what greatest honour can there be for our peoples, for all our peoples, for our diasporas around the world, our community and our values, to attend and participate in such a prestigious international event, being hosted in such a beautiful way. And Honourable Minister, let me thank you for the occasion and the opportunity as well to be here and to celebrate what is this historic event. And this is important because it demonstrates our great stand-in, but also the tremendous international stand-in that India has around the globe. And we are, of course, celebrating 100 years since the return from South Africa of Mahatma Gandhi, the greatest Pravasi of all, who my government, the British government, will be honouring this year by presenting a statue in London's Parliament Square. This memorial will be a lasting and fitting tribute to his memory in Britain and a permanent monument of our friendship with India and the depth of that friendship and our relationship with India. But of course we are here today celebrating the achievements of the diaspora, of everybody here from around the world. And it is a matter of tremendous pride. We have a delegation here from the United Kingdom, but it is tremendous pride to us that in the United Kingdom, the UK is a talent. It is the home of such a talented and ambitious Indian diaspora, in excess of over 1.5 million people. And my Prime Minister, David Cameron, is proud of that contribution that British Indians have made to the United Kingdom. And in particular, it's about the values that we all share and the values by which we live our lives. That belief in family, that belief in community, the belief in enterprise, the strength of our young people who are here today in tremendous numbers, but also that belief in serving others by putting other people first and not by putting ourselves first. And we were honoured in October to have Minister Swaraj when she came to the United Kingdom, where she herself met with the diaspora, many of the diaspora, and reaffirmed her personal commitment and India's commitment to connecting with them and with young people as well and involving them in extending the next chapter of India's momentous progress with them. And of course, our diaspora around the world is one of the strongest bonds that we hold in our very deep and mature relationship with India. And it is a known fact for all Gujaratis that are here in Gujarat that the largest city outside of Gujarat is actually in the United Kingdom. It is Leicester, and it's very well known. We have representatives from Leicester here as well, I'm proud to say that too. Members from the Indian diaspora community have contributed to the highest level across the UK and are incredibly prominent now in Britain and in British society. But we should also honour the hundreds, the thousands of people who've enriched their communities and done so much, often in a very understated way, to strengthen not just the economic links, but the cultural links that keep our two countries, our two nations, and bind us so firmly together. That shared history and tradition. And over the coming years, from the UK's point of view, we have so much more to offer. It has been a very specific objective of my Prime Minister, David Cameron, in deepening the bonds with India. It is well known he has been to India 3 times. When he became Prime Minister in 2010, India was the first place that he came to because he wanted to reconfirm, reiterate the depth of that commitment. And of course, by establishing my role, the role of the Indian diaspora champion in the United Kingdom, the first role of its kind, that was his way of reaffirming the strength of that. And it is a genuine honour for me to serve in this role and to be the voice of the diaspora in the United Kingdom and to bring that voice here at this very splendid occasion. But of course, the last year has seen some tremendous steps forwards for the Indian diaspora, internationally, globally, as we see here, but also within the UK. For us, it was a moment of great pride for Gujaratis in the United Kingdom. To see Prime Minister Modi ji being elected in May was a momentous moment for everybody here, of course, but also in the United Kingdom too. We were filled with tremendous pride to see him being elected with the largest democratic mandate in history from the Indian people. And of course, young people played a huge role in that as well. Our Prime Minister has reiterated his commitment. We have invited Modi ji to come to England and he will receive a hugely warm welcome there amongst our community. But last year as well, we were here just after the elections, both the British Chancellor and our Foreign Secretary, as part of a delegation strengthening the economic and financial dialogue to strengthen that journey, that relationship and that partnership with India, where we launched the India-UK Financial Partnership, a strategic partnership to draw our financial capitals of London and Mumbai closer together. I was part of that delegation last summer, and we were filled with pride and joy when we saw the confidence and the excitement across India through the election of Prime Minister Modi. Everywhere we went, we heard people say, "Acha din, the good days are coming." But building those good days is why we are here, as the diaspora coming together. And from the UK's point of view, we stand shoulder to shoulder with India in building those good days. We, myself, as a Treasury Minister in our Finance Ministry, we have experience of turning our economy around, of taking difficult decisions, of fostering industry, of fostering partnership, on delivering policies for jobs, growth, skills, supporting our young people as well. Trade is important, but nurturing investment is important too, as is education. And that's why when I see so many young faces in the audience today, we are proud to see you here amongst the diaspora communities too, because you are our shared future, you are our shared vision, you will bring us hope. And India is that young, dynamic country at the cusp of future prosperity, all those under 25-year-olds. The country is dependent upon you. So it's important that you have the right skills, the right education, the right opportunities, the right training to prepare you for what we now call the global race. The one thing we know is that Indians are tremendous global citizens. Wherever you go, we are big internationalists. We take our big heart everywhere and we share our international experiences while we have India in our heart. But having a large percentage of the working population is absolutely crucial to India's future prosperity. And there are challenges with that, but education is the key, and that's where Britain can help. The British Council has trained nearly over 1 million English language teachers over here, and has reached over 17 million aspirational Indians who know that speaking English, the world's language, makes a real difference when it comes to getting on in life and becoming an international citizen and becoming part of that diaspora as well. The UK is the home to 4 of the world's top 10 universities, and we have welcomed over 100,000 students from India just over the last 5 years, and we are welcoming more and more every day, every week, every month, every year. Our Generation UK India programme will send 25,000 British students here over the next 5 years as well, building and deepening our links with India. We have schemes such as the Newton Baba Fund, are funding new and exciting science and research projects. India's youth has a role to play there. We have now also quadrupled our funding for our Chevening scholars from India, making India the largest Chevening scholarship program in the world, and that should be commended. Tomorrow's prosperity depends upon the young. It depends upon education, energizing young people of today, and also connecting with our youth diaspora too. Under the vibrant leadership that India now has, India is embarking upon a vibrant journey. We, as a member of the British government, will be there shoulder to shoulder as you embark upon that vibrant and energetic journey as well, and continue to be part of India's prosperity for future generations. I just finally would like to say it is a real privilege to be here today amongst the greatest diaspora in the world in this room today, but also to wish you all the very best on your own journeys as well, but for the young to give you heart and inspiration, to fill you with pride as you look forward as well to your future. The diaspora are there standing with you too and want to be part of your success, and it's a privilege to be here to inaugurate today's session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Preeti Patel, Honourable Member of Parliament from the UK. We're delighted to have the chairperson of the World Organization of Students and Youth, Dr. Rashmi Das, will now address us all.
A very good morning to you all and a very happy new year. Honorable External Affairs Minister, Honorable Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports, Honorable Madam Patel, Honorable Secretaries to the Government of India, distinguished dignitaries, member delegates, and all my wonderful young people, both national and international student community who've come here for the Youth PBD. It's a great privilege to present my organization, the World Organization of Students and Youth, before you all. You all, the descendants of the hardworking Indian, the descendants of the industrious Indians, and the descendants of the peace-loving Indians. And I have come here to talk to you about the principles which define India. There are many principles, but I will focus only on 3 principles which are of contemporary relevance to our world today. And these principles we hold very dearly in our organization, WOSI. We have in India a tremendous character for knowledge seeking. In every Indian household, rich or poor, even in poor households, lower income group households, a certain portion of the meager funds is kept for the education of the children. A mother would pawn and sell her jewelry to fund the education of a child. Nahi jnanena sadastram pavitram iha vidyate. There is nothing in this world so purifying as knowledge, says the Bhagavad Gita. Our honorable External Affairs Minister had said that the Bhagavad Gita be considered the national book of our country. Indeed, it is. And so, you see, every institution in our country, our universities, our IITs, our IS Academy, our IPS Academy, even giant financial institutions like the LIC, has its motto drawn from the verses of the Gita. So this dedication to knowledge seeking, which we have, is an enormous capability that Indians already have. From this comes the other dimension, karmashu kaushalam, work efficiency. For some years, the narrative of India, unfortunately, was blighted by chronic corruption, by kleptocrats running amok. That has changed now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has brought in a new Yug Dharma in India. He has marshaled the social conscience of the people of our country and set it on a path of perfection. And that's why you see government programs like Swachh Bharat and Make in India are not just government programs, they are the initiatives of the people of our country. In every sphere, from Adarsh Gram to smart cities, an ideal prototype is being created to be scaled up manifold. And our neighbors are also experiencing the beneficent impacts of the government's initiatives. In Nepal recently, more than $1 billion worth of projects have been promised, have been pledged in hydropower, in irrigation, in infrastructure, in administrative and health facilities. Similarly is the case with Bhutan. So I tell you, my friends, India's growth is the cause of cheer for all countries. It is a cause of benefit for all countries. And that's why India's cause has to be promoted very heavily by the diaspora community, which is assembled here. The second principle, which we hold very dearly, which India holds very dearly, is peace. Peace is the greatest objective. All states should be committed to peace. But peace requires a peacekeeping infrastructure. In our world today, if you see, in the region bordering near our South Asian region, in West Asia, down to North Africa, a geography of ruin has been inflicted by fundamentalist forces. And the export of this murderous ideology is creating savage impacts across the world. Therefore, strategic partnerships in such a climate is not an aggressive doctrine. It is a doctrine for the preservation of all humanity. That is why our Afghan students in WOSI are very thankful for the support that India has provided in terms of security, infrastructure, to Afghanistan during your latest visit to that country. For only when you have peace can there be material well-being. Can science and education bring improvements in the quality of life. So, in our age, efficient peacekeeping is the new definition of peace. The third principle, and this is very important, is the spirit of voluntarism. In India, we've always had this transformative leadership based on the ethics of voluntarism. And we are sitting here today at the feet of the most gallant practitioner of that ethics, Mahatma Gandhi. From a very young age in India, we are taught, wretched are those who selfishly try to corner all the fruits of their action. Kripana phalahetava is the statement in Gita. So go beyond yourself. That is high character, we are taught. This is what unfolds what Robert Browning said, called the imprisoned splendor of the human spirit. And I'm proud that my organization, WOSI, is an exceptional example in voluntarism. Our student volunteers who come to study in India from more than over 45 countries work diligently. They go long distances with or without travel reservations, not bothering whether they will eat at meal times or not, but they work on, all driven by the concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is a family, which they have internalized. Indeed, WOSI, I can say with certainty, is a rare example of a multinational grassroots organization built by so many young people with so few resources. I can report to you with satisfaction that we have unlocked the imprisoned splendor in abundance. I hope the Youth PBD will lead you to integrate the consciousness of India in your work life conduct and help you play meaningful roles in your communities and in your countries. And as a kindred community, overseas Indians and Indians here, let us look at the development of India as a common cause and increase each other's working powers and influence of India on the world stage. I would like to thank the organizers of Youth PBD for inviting WOSI delegates to this event, and I would particularly like to thank our Honorable External Affairs Minister, who has an enormous affection for the student community, both here in the country and outside, elsewhere, who come to India to study. Thank you all very much. Jai Hind.
Dear delegates, friends, ladies and gentlemen, to deliver the inaugural address for the Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, I'd like to now invite Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, Honorable Minister of External Affairs and Overseas Indian Affairs, Government of India.
Honorable Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports, Mr. Sonanand Sonowal, distinguished member of British Parliament, Ms. Preeti Patel, Chairperson of World Organization of Students and Youth, Mrs. Rashmi Das, the Secretary of Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, Shri Sunil Soni, Secretary of Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Shri Rajiv Gupta, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, and above all, my very, very dear young friends. It's a pleasure to join you all for the inaugural session of the Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. As India's External and Overseas Affairs Minister, I get the opportunity to meet statesmen and leaders from across the world. But I must say, it is a special joy to interact with this gathering of youth from across the world who share a special bond with India, a bond of heart. It's also very appropriate that we should be meeting so early in the new year, which always brings tidings full of hope and promise. So let me wish everyone present here a very happy, fulfilling, and prosperous 2015. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome you all to Gujarat, a state that is known for its rich traditions, entrepreneurial spirit, resourcefulness, and work ethic. You, the young generation of Pravasis, are also known for the same attributes. But friends, this Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is not just about matchmaking. It is also about discovering your roots and learning about and appreciating your heritage. If I were to put it in a nutshell, this Youth PBD is about 3 C's. The first C is connect. Today, an estimated 25 million people of Indian origin and non-resident Indians live and work outside India. The Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is essentially a platform to connect this Indian diaspora with the motherland. We started this initiative in 2003 under the Prime Ministership of Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The idea was to develop consciousness of the concept of the global Indian family, define India's new approach towards the diaspora, provide a forum to discuss issues and concerns of people at the diaspora, and to involve the diaspora in the development and advancement of India. With the PBD, we have come full circle. Not only are we doing this event in Gujarat, we are also holding it at a time when we mark 100 years of the return of the greatest Pravasi Bharatiya, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who arrived back in India from South Africa on January 9, 1915. Friends, the India of 2015 is very different from the India that Mahatma Gandhi returned to in 1915. No longer does the world consider it as a country mired by poverty and underdevelopment. Today, India is seen as a rising power and appreciated across the world for the way it has converged strong democratic institutions with rapid development. And the biggest asset of this new India is its youth. Even though India is an old civilization, today it is also one of the youngest countries in the world, with more than 50% of our population being under the age of 25, which means that soon 1/5 of the world's working age population will be in India. Herein lies the importance of the Youth PBD. Just as you connect to each other through Facebook, Twitter, Google, and email, a Youth PBD is our attempt to connect with you, the new generation of Pravasis growing up all over the world. This is also the platform for you to connect with the new generation of Indians who are confident, aspirational, and transcending the old boundaries of caste and class. The second C is celebrate. We want the young Pravasis to take pride in the history and civilizational heritage of India, which is their cultural inheritance. Hence, it is necessary for you to know about your roots and the place from where your fathers and forefathers originated. All of you know how a barrister called M.K. Gandhi came back to India 100 years ago and brought about momentous changes to this land which made him a Mahatma. What many of you may not know is that despite the fact that he was already a very successful lawyer and a political leader in South Africa, Gandhi thought that it was necessary for him to get to know India better before he launched himself into the national freedom movement. He went around the country on trains, always traveling in third class, to be among the people, and observed many things about the country. This voyage of discovery opened his eyes to the true face of India and its problems, which he then set out to solve. We thought, therefore, that the sessions that we placed before the delegates for the Youth PBD should enable them to know more about India. That is why the first plenary session is called Bharat Ko Jano, to know more about India, its traditions, and its art and culture. Bharat Ko Jano will tell you that zero and the decimal system were India's gift to the world. The world's first university was established in Takshila in 700 BC. The earliest school of medicine known to humans was Ayurveda, which was consolidated by Charak, the father of medicine, some 2,500 years ago. Of even greater importance are the ideas and ideals that India has bequeathed to the world. Ideas such as non-violence, tolerance, and respect for diversity and difference. These are enshrined in our way of life and have shown the world the way to live with peace and harmony. That is why India is today hailed as the world's largest democracy, where 1.25 billion people are reaching for their destiny through the medium of pluralist politics. Just last month, the people of Jammu and Kashmir voted overwhelmingly for peaceful change by braving the bullets of the separatists to register the highest voter turnout in 25 years. Friends, Indians have always been empowered by democracy. Now we are also trying to empower them through technology. That is why we have a second plenary session called Bharat Ko Mano, which tell you about the remarkable strides that modern India has taken, especially in the fields of science and technology. The nation, which gave the world the concept of zero, has also mastered the nuclear cycle, sent expeditions to Antarctica, and even unmanned missions to the moon and Mars. In fact, the ISRO's Mars Orbiter mission, Mangalyaan, was recently named among the best inventions of 2014 by Time magazine. The spacecraft, which took just 4 years from feasibility study to arrival at Mars orbit, cost approximately $25 million, less than the budget for the Hollywood film Gravity. India also became the first nation to reach Mars orbit in its very first attempt. India's soft power has also been spreading around the world. Whether you have Californians doing yoga, or Britishers eating Indian curries, Egyptians dancing to Hindi film songs, they have all contributed to the image of the new India. The intensity of India's international engagement has also increased manifold, which can be seen from the calendar of high-level visits, both to and from India. Prime Minister Modi's out-of-the-box initiatives and whirlwind tours have raised India's global profile. In a few days from now, President Obama will grace our Republic Day parade as the chief guest. What excites the world most about India today is the Indian economy, which is now the third largest in terms of purchasing power parity and is showing new dynamism under the present government. Our government was elected on the platform of pro-people good governance. And though we have been in office for less than 8 months, we have been able to effect a complete transformation in the business sentiment vis-à-vis India. We have addressed both policy and regulatory issues, which have resonated well with global rating agencies and major financial institutions, which are projecting increased economic growth in India after 2 years of depressed growth. Those of you who want proof need not step out of this city, because just 3 days from now, the vibrant Gujarat summit is being held with an attendance by more than 10,000 delegates, including global political and business leaders. To enhance ease of doing business, The government has taken multiple steps to simplify procedures, rationalize rules, and increase use of technology for efficient and effective governance. Efforts are on to identify obsolete laws and regulations which need to be repealed. Skilling our people, particularly the young, is also a priority. There is also a clear focus on infrastructure. Several steps have been taken to enhance financing of infrastructure, and we have moved towards a more transparent policy on natural resources. Given the enormous requirements of infrastructure development over the next few years, foreign investment is going to be extremely important. And this brings me to the third C, contribute. We want you, the young Pravasis, to contribute to the development of India. We want you to participate in the vision that Prime Minister Modi has for India's future. We have launched several programs that have the potential to transform India. The Jan Dhan Yojana, the world's largest program of financial inclusion, has just crossed the 100 million mark, and 98.4% of households in India now have bank accounts. The Swachh Bharat campaign for cleanliness has become a mass movement. This is an issue that affects not only people's health, but is also an attack on social ills like untouchability and manual scavenging. The Make in India program signals our commitment to transforming India into the manufacturing hub of the world. The Digital India initiative aims at delivering government services electronically by 2018. It will encompass not only e-governance, but also broadband for all, IT-enabled education, and telemedicine. We have already rolled out biometric attendance in government offices as a practical example of this initiative. The Smart Cities program aims to build 100 smart cities in India, which will be well-planned, technologically integrated, and environment-friendly. The government has been working in mission mode to implement all these programs. You can contribute to them and become an active partner in these ventures. Our government is fully committed to good governance, efficiency, accountability, transparency, and speedy decision-making. There are tremendous opportunities today for you to join us, especially in the fields of manufacturing, infrastructure development, education, health, skill development, science and technology, research and innovation, knowledge economy, and youth development as part of our effort to realize India's full potential. Friends, just as Mahatma Gandhi was the greatest ambassador of peace, non-violence, and truth during his time, you can become the ambassadors of the new India. Today, the Pravasi is the most significant example of India's soft power. Through your work abroad as software gurus, tech wizards, eminent academics, and trailblazing business persons, a clear and powerful message of India's capabilities has been conveyed to the world. Your honest work ethic, law-abiding and hard-working nature have contributed to the global image of India and Indians. Most important of all, you have retained a bit of India in your hearts. Even though situated thousands of miles away, you have kept the spirit of Bharat alive. For some of you, this may be the very first visit to the land of your fathers or forefathers. For some others, it may be yet another link in the voyage of discovery that you have embarked upon. But for all of you, I am sure it is an occasion to reflect upon your heritage and to touch base with a country which will always consider you as one of its own, regardless of the color of your passport or the land of your citizenship. So, my young global Indians, come, connect, celebrate, contribute, and become a part of the momentous transformation taking place in the country to build Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, Mrs. Sushma Swaraj. Your words of inspiration, Bharat ko jano, Bharat ko mano, and reminding youth to connect with our roots and our Indian ethos will indeed reverb through this entire event. And to wind up the inaugural ceremony now, a vote of thanks by Rajiv Gupta, Secretary, Department of Youth Affairs, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India.
Honorable Minister for External Affairs and Overseas Indian Affairs, Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge for Youth Affairs and Sports, Ms. Priti Patel, UK Prime Minister's Diaspora Champion, Honorable Member of the British Parliament and Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury in the British Government, Dr. Rashmi Das, Chairperson, World Organization of Students and Youth, Secretary, Overseas Indian Affairs, distinguished delegates from around the world, ladies and gentlemen. It is my proud privilege to propose a vote of thanks to this august assembly. Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is indeed a wonderful platform that gives us an opportunity to meet and interact with our Indian friends from abroad. On behalf of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and also on behalf of all our young Indian friends present here, I would like to convey our heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Minister for External Affairs and Overseas Indian Affairs for deciding to celebrate the first day of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas as the Youth PBD, and for making the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports the partner ministry for this event. Madam, your concern for youth is indeed a source of inspiration for all of us. I'd like to express our sincere gratitude to Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge for Youth Affairs and Sports, who has been the driving force behind various initiatives that the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports is taking for the development and empowerment of youth. Under his guidance, we will continue to work for intensifying our engagement with our overseas Indian friends. Our sincere thanks to Ms. Priti Patel for sparing time out of her busy schedule and making it convenient to be present here on this occasion. She indeed symbolizes the success of persons of Indian origin all over the world. Our sincere thanks also to Dr. Rashmi Das for enlightening us about the activities of our organization and highlighting the great Indian principles of life. We are thankful to the Secretary, Overseas Indian Affairs, Shri Sunil Soni, for closely associating the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports in all arrangements for the Youth PBD. This has made our partnership very meaningful and fruitful. We express our sincere gratitude to the Government of Gujarat for all their support and cooperation. Our sincere thanks to the entire FICCI team who have worked very hard right from inception to make this great event happen. Above all, I would like to express our sincere heartfelt thanks to all our Indian friends who have come from various parts of the world to be part of this important event. This only reflects their concern for and commitment to India. Truly, wherever Indians might go, they carry India in their hearts. We seek to strengthen the bonds of all our overseas Indian friends with India. Our sincere thanks to the Indian youth who have come from various parts of the country to attend this event. I am sure they'll find it a wonderful opportunity to interact with the overseas Indian youth who are here. I would also like to express our thanks to all the government and non-government organizations who are participating in the exhibition. We also thank the principal sponsors, Bank of India, and all other sponsors and partners of PBD for supporting this event. Our sincere thanks to our friends from media for covering this event. Finally, I would like to convey my thanks to all the officials of the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, Government of Gujarat, and the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, for the hard work put in by them over the last few months for organization of this very important event. Thank you all.
This inaugural session of the Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas will be followed by various sessions with deliberations on the abiding ideology of Mahatma Gandhi and its relevance in the 21st century, especially in relation to the youth.
ये था युवा प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस का उद्घाटन सत्र। देश और दुनिया में बदलाव लाने के लिए गांधी जी के संकल्प को अपनाने का अवसर। चलो स्वयं को बदलें हम। महात्मा मंदिर, गांधीनगर से फिलहाल इतना ही। नमस्कार।